business these days. Right now, a massive acquisition where Microsoft's trying to acquire Activision Blizzard. You may not have heard of it, but if you're into gaming, you certainly know the ramifications of this, but it's far beyond just what games you're playing. Let's bring in our guest tonight, Rachel Chiu, Young Voices contributor, up late with me tonight here on the Final Five. Good to see you again, Rachel.
Thanks so much. It's great to chat with you.
Okay, I'm stunned at the size of this sale. This is almost $69 billion. You have Microsoft, which we all know Microsoft. Many people know Activision Blizzard. Just give us the nuts and bolts of what's going on here and why it's held up in some bureaucratic wrangling.
Yes. So as you mentioned, this is a massive deal, but regulators in the United States and United Kingdom are trying to prevent the acquisition based on entirely speculative claims of competitive harm. So they allege that the deal would cause a foreclosure of competition in the gaming industry, specifically in the cloud gaming market, even though there's absolutely no evidence of this.
So Microsoft has mentioned they have their hands in just about everything, and I remember when they had the big acquisition of Bethesda Gaming, which that was only about a $7 billion acquisition, which was big money at the time. But in terms of Activision and Blizzard, for people who aren't familiar with it, what are they involved in, and what products have they put out that people would recognize?
So Activision is known for Call of Duty, for World of Warcraft. These are games that have millions of players. And so it's understandable why governments are a little bit concerned, but ultimately their focus should not be on individual competitors. It shouldn't be on competitors at all. That's really a question for consumers, for the market to decide what products and services they want to partake in. So for regulators, their focus is really misguided and it's unfounded.
There are a lot of mergers that have come down the pipeline that never came to be for one reason or another. In this case right here, so the EU passed it through. They were fine with this. Where do you think the most opposition lies? Is it from the UK or is it from the US?
That's a good question. So the actions that the UK has taken are probably the strongest so far. In the US, the Federal Trade Commission is moving to try to block this acquisition as well, but it still has to go through the courts. So there is a scenario in which this deal can still proceed. It may be the case that UK gamers have a different experience, perhaps less products and services than around the world, in which case that is not the ideal outcome, but it's a better one than we're currently seeing right now.
So is there a time frame that they're working between here? Is there a point where they have to strike a deal or it's off? So the cases are going to proceed over the next few months in the US. In the UK, Microsoft is trying to appeal the decision. So it's kind of a wait and see approach right now. And for gamers around the world, this is really concerning. And many issues that pertain to tech. And I can think of many instances where we hear members of Congress discussing the merits of social media when clearly many of them have never used Twitter or Facebook in their lives. When it comes to something like the cloud gaming market, do you feel like there's a lot of people who are making the decisions who aren't familiar with how the technology works or how it works in the first place at all?
Absolutely. So when I wrote my article, I received a ton of feedback from people who actually use these services, saying that regulators do not understand how cloud gaming works at all. And that's really concerning, because ultimately, when we have government officials making choices that directly impact consumers about products that they know nothing about, that is a big issue. And ultimately, it's the consumers who lose out, because they're the ones who are being deprived of something that they would have used.
Last question. There have been some big companies that have made forays into the gaming market. Facebook, for one, they've made the big investments in Oculus. Google tried this in the cloud gaming market with Stadia. That went by the wayside pretty quickly. So, are there any parallels you see here to some of these bigger companies that have not had that kind of success that clearly companies like Activision and Microsoft have?
So I think what we see here is that it's an emerging market. There's a lot that we don't know about. And that's what I think makes what regulators are doing especially problematic, because they're making predictions about a market that still has to unfold, that there's still a lot of research and development that has to go into it. So emerging technologies, emerging markets ultimately need the space to grow. And that's not what governments are doing.
Of course, this is something a lot of people are paying a lot of attention to. Glad we can break it down because, again, you'll see the headlines. A lot of people may not have any idea of the ramifications, but when you dig deeply into it, there's a lot of things that sound familiar and many things that don't. So, Rachel, good to see you again. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks so much.
And the Final Five is back after this.